Hey friends, I am one of those people who is stereotypically classified as a rebel or disobedient or whatever. Why, you might ask? Well, that is because I am a pastor's kid. Welcome to my life. Good people, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. It has been 9 years since I became the official pastor's kid, PK, of my church. When I was born, at the time, my dad was youth pastor, so he's always had the pastor role title since I was born. So technically, I've always been a PK, but it didn't become more official until he was actually lead pastor 9 years ago today. I gotta say, starting out as a PK initially and officially was rough because all of a sudden, people that you've known forever, they know you don't know the whole Bible, and you know that they don't know the whole Bible, but somehow it's like, now they want you to know every verse, they want you to know every scripture and come with it and spit out verses in youth like it's clockwork. And I'm like, what happened to being a human? What happened to being a Christian who was also a child? Needless to say, the shift was very interesting, but it was also clear because it revealed the people who couldn't stand my parents in the first place before my dad even became lead pastor. So it just made things more clear in that area, and it made me see certain people a whole lot differently once I understood and I knew what they were coming with. Because how in the world can I trust you and you playing in my parents' face? Like, how does that work? Especially in the comments that were being made in just random conversation. I dissected every tone, every piece of backlash, jealousy. Yeah, I played dumb, but trust me, I knew what was going on, and I reported it back to headquarters because one thing about me, I tell my parents everything. They heard a lot from me. What happened was people were starting to realize that they couldn't get through to my parents, so they would come to me and try to make me the messenger. I've never understood people using family, like a family member, to go against their family, if that makes sense. I just do not get that. I am forever grateful for the ways in how these experiences have taught me how to read people, see people for who they are and act accordingly, and not just watch it all unfold, but set boundaries and do something about it. And also how to understand people and how to play dumb, because I've done a lot of that. And doing all of that while still maintaining a Christ-like character, even with difficult people. Things eventually mellowed out just because God, he always finds a way to filter out the bad. He did that when a hurricane hit our city, and then also the following year, a global pandemic. So those were two major events that really gave people their way of escape to take their exit. And when I say take their exit, I mean leave our church. So this happened in a 3-year span, and I really feel like the best thing that some people could have ever done while we were rebuilding is for them to relocate. These two events, like the hurricane and the pandemic, and rebuilding and coming back and all that stuff to in-person worship, it was just so different, and it was on the up and up just because now you've taken out the messy mouths, the messy minds, and the conflict creators. Coming out of the pandemic and then also being in a brand new church building, the past 4 years, being a PK has been great. I dealt with a lot of people who tried to make a people pleaser out of me as a minor, as a child. And that's very funny, especially when I really don't care about what other people have to say, as long as, God is pleased and my parents, I'm in check with them. Okay, I don't really care to please people, not at the expense of my salvation and my obedience to God. This posture and mindset that I have was then, and it's also now as a grown adult. We have people who are all on the same wavelength, especially in church leadership, which is so important. There's no self-seeking, no division-driven agendas. Looking back at what I've experienced the past 19 years of life, I just refuse to believe that all PKs' lives are miserable. People talk about being at church all week, and I really can't relate. And that's probably because my parents showed me excellent balance. I didn't say compromise, I said balance. Some of us had or have great parents who just let us find God for ourselves, let us live life, didn't expect us to be anything so soon and so early in life, just allowed us to find God for ourselves and really come to that and not force it on us. And that's the experience I had. It is rare, but it's possible. For those who have had warfare on both sides, from church and parents expecting you to be this, that, and the other, then that's a whole different story that I just... Whew. As it relates to my journey, I enjoy church because my dad specifically, who is my pastor and my father, who has dual roles in that way, he has made church a safe place, as it should be for anybody. In church, many PKs are exposed and expected. My dad was not the stereotypical PK, and so of course that changed the narrative for me, and his example gave me the reason not to be this rebel PK. Our home has always been my dad's first ministry, and he has lived that out in the way that he has structured his life, and he continues to do that. Therefore, I have become this lover of God who is rooted in church and very family oriented, and that is all because of how I was raised, and I understand family and ministry collectively and individually. I love that everything is not about church. Like, everything isn't religious, everything isn't spiritual. Sometimes it's just practical. It's the practical things that you remember the most, because when it's always Jesus, Jesus, Jesus forced on you, it's like, okay, now you're forcing so much on me that I don't know what I believe. And I think that's what a lot of PKs also struggle with, is just everything is so churchy, you know. But for me, I have just loved the balance in my life of understanding, yes, love God, keep God in your life, but it's okay if you miss a couple Sundays. It's okay if you miss, some Wednesdays. Go on vacation. Listen. And I think because I wasn't forced into it, not forced to be this or be that, I think that's why church really is a highlight in my life, just because I go because I'm going for God and not for people who have these expectations. I literally wake up on Sundays and I'm like, let's go, because I love this life. I was recently ordained as a minister in the church that I grew up in and was raised in. So was my dad, the church that we're both PKs in. And sometimes at this stage of my life, especially, I forget that I'm a minister, because the congregation as a whole just accepts me as a human and treats me like a human, like everyone else is in that church, because I am holy and I am human. Yes, I am made in the holy image of God, but also I was made in human flesh. So I possess holy humanity. And what kind of people, what kind of a person would we be if we couldn't be human? This is another problem, because PKs that get told, you need more Jesus, you need more this, you need more that, and da 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 da, and you should know the Bible, and you should know this scripture and all that. Well, sometimes PKs just want their human emotions to be accepted and attended to and understood, and not just something to rebuke. So this is how my life has become what it has become as a PK. And I will say, being a PK as a child versus now being a grown PK, like adult PK, it is so weird and it's so different. But I think there's good in that too, because not only is my humanity accepted, but also people understand and respect that I am becoming, like, I am my own person outside of my parents. And so when I came out with the news or announcement of making communications my major instead of theology, like my father, people weren't disappointed, because although my primary job is not going to be church leadership like my dad, ministry is always going to be a part of my life, because first and foremost, I am still connected to Jesus, to God, and I'm still connected to church, and I have the power to share Jesus in other ways that are not always tied to church environments. Being a PK, a pastor's kid, with time, it has become an amazing and incredible experience, and I'm just so grateful, because it's given me lessons about people that most don't get to experience personally for themselves, and being a Christian, it is different from being a PK, and being a PK is different from being a church kid, and being a minister is different from all these things. But somehow, some way, in certain moments, it all connects. All of those roles somehow come together at certain moments in beautiful, unexplainable ways. Thank you for listening to my journey as a PK. I hope you enjoyed getting to know me a little bit more and how my experiences in church have shaped me into who I am today. I love you guys so much. Have an incredible day.